women are checking out men all the time, and women have all sorts of tricks for doing that, and they have hot, steamy sex. And so, most of female pornography is extended foreplay. Children check out their parents, which is by harassing them and seeing what happens. Pornographic fantasy. But I really think it's based in reality. Beautiful, high-status women who begin that trend, the rest of the women will follow. So the whole game that women are playing is way different than the game men is playing. So imagine that you have an attractive girl and a variety of relatively high-status men are chasing her. Now, you might ask, well, how do they evaluate her status? And I think they evaluate her status by her ability to say no. So imagine, a high-status person offers himself or herself to you. And if you're of lower status, you're going to say yes right away. But one marker of higher status is, well, no, I don't need what you're selling. Yeah, but what I'm selling is great. Yeah, but I have so many offers that I'm not inclined to take your offer because I have options. And it's no on the part of women that signal. I really believe this is the case. It's voluntary no on the part of women that signals their status. And so I don't think young women know this at all because they want to know how to compete with men, let's say, in the power game. And that's a tough question because women are smaller and they're not as physically powerful. And economic prowess isn't as attractive to them, and it doesn't make them more viable on the mating market. So the whole game that women are playing is way different than the game men is playing. So you might say, well, how do women equalize the battle? And I think a huge part of that is by reserving to themselves the right to say no. And you see this, people are stumbling towards this realization, even on the radical leftist front, because they keep saying, no means no. And it's like, well, yeah, I wish it was that clear, but at a drunken frat party, what constitutes no is not self-evident. But a clear no on the part of a woman. And I also think that there's every reason to think, and plenty of evidence, that men desirable in the face of, that makes women desirable in the eyes of men, especially if the men might be enticed into pursuing a long-term mating strategy. They'll push on women and see, well, will you say yes right away? And if the answer is yes, especially true for high-status men, if the answer is immediately yes, then the guy assumes, well, your status really isn't that high. You can't say no to me. But if the woman says no, even to you, the guy thinks, oh, well, look at that. You can imagine there's some narcissism in that. Even though I have everything to offer that I have to offer, she's just not falling over, Maybe there's something there that requires further exploration. And you even see this in female pornography. It's so interesting because the classic female pornographic story is, there's this extremely attractive, highly productive man who's got a real capacity for aggression. He's a pirate or a surgeon or a werewolf or a vampire or a billionaire. Those are the fundamental female pornographic tropes. And he has women at his disposal. But this woman is shielded off from him. And they dance around each other for a long time, which essentially means that she's saying no. And he's finally enticed into a relationship with her where he sacrifices all, his access to all other women. And then they have hot, steamy sex. And so, most of female pornography is extended foreplay. And that's this romantic dance of no, followed by, a very spectacular consummation. And that certainly mirrors it mirrors the optimal female reproductive pathway, obviously, because otherwise it wouldn't be the hottest pornographic fantasy. But I really think it's based in reality. And so I don't know how it is that you communicate to young women that, especially if they are of high female status, but even if they're not, that the most potent tool they have in their armament with regard to status, with regard to being taken seriously, is their ability and willingness to say no. Well, if it's the beautiful high-status women who begin that trend, the rest of the women will follow. Because trends always start in the aristocracy and trend downwards. Now, okay, so here's another thought. And this has to do with the built-in antagonism, let's say, and hopefully eventual cooperation of the sexes on the sexual front. So women are checking out men all the time, and women have all sorts of tricks for doing that. They might be provocative, for example, because they want to test a man to see if he can control his temper, and no one likes to talk about that, but any smart woman is going to do that because she wants to find out if her partner, she wants someone who has the capacity for aggression, but she wants someone who can control it, because a man will be provoked by children. And if he can't control his temper, then he's going to be aggressive. And so she has to check that out. And you don't check that out by having a formal conversation. You check that out the same way children check out their parents, which is by harassing them and seeing what happens. And then men check women out. So maybe one of the things a man wants to do if he's going to commit to a long-term relationship is he wants to find out, well, does this woman have what it takes to actually commit to a long-term relationship? And what that means in part is that he has to know that she's capable of controlling her impulsive desires, right? Because otherwise she's going to stray.